So we just got a 38 Donzi into the shop. Jeff Schellenberger, the owner of the boat, gave us a call. He saw some of the stuff that we were working on, really liked what we had going on. So he decided he was gonna get a boat. He already had an idea in his head of some of the stuff he wanted to get done. The custom dash panel, he wanted to have the motors painted. He wants to add Seadek to the boat. So he was just counting on us to take delivery of the boat and kind of make everything happen from there. So one of the main things Jeff wanted done to the boat was to have a custom dash panel made. He requested that we put two of the biggest screens that we could possibly fit in there. So we're gonna put two 16-inch Garmins in there. Dale's in the TRB Custom Bay. He's gonna be fabricating the acrylic panel that's gonna house the two Garmin screens.
Yeah, at Two Rivers Boatworks in the TRB Custom Bay, I have to do a dash panel for a Donzi that we have in with just a simple Donzi Z logo in the top of it. All the time that I've taken learning to use my machinery and my tools, well, kind of no more messing around. And I'm really excited about getting it done and a little nervous and apprehensive at the same time. Once I had worked out the exact geometry of this panel and I made sure that all my measurements were precise, it's now time to do it in the actual acrylic. And I'm a little bit nervous about having to do this acrylic panel, but you know, we put it in the machine and I use some rare earth magnets. I use them as reference points inside the laser. It definitely came in handy when I put the panel into the machine and I did the Donzi logo. I did the Donzi logo and then I did the backfill, but after I'd done the backfill, I realized that certain parts of the logo weren't as clear or as deep as I really wanted them to be. So this allowed me to take the panel, put it back into the machine, run the machine again to etch it slightly deeper and get it perfect. This particular panel that I was doing is symmetrical in shape. I'm able to flip it over and I then run the laser to mark out the holes where I'm going to put the mounting bolts. After I'd run the laser, I realized that I wasn't quite as deep as I wanted to be. So I was able to run the laser a second time at a different angle, and that allowed me to get a little deeper before I just cleaned that all out with a router. Once I'm finished cutting the panel on the laser, I take it over to the machine shop. I run the edges of the panel through the router. I just sort of knock the edge off, put a slight radius on it before I flip the panel over and start doing the really hard work. You know, because these Garmins are flush mounted, I have to get in there with a router and you don't get a second chance on this. You literally have one chance to get it right. You cut in pretty deep. We double checked and then we ran the router through the bottom side of it, which was really easy. But having to do the top side of it, you've got a slight radius going all the way. We really had to take our time to lay this panel up so that when I ran the router, it would cut straight. So after I'd done the panel and we brought it out and kind of felt that it needed a little more backfill, it needed a little more life to it. It's a paint that like sort of comes in a crayon form and that makes the logo pop out. We buffed it up a little bit, perfect. I can't wait to see it on the boat. We needed to find a solution to being able to remove the dash panel without breaking everything. So we mount the bolt in that routed out piece and then we fill it with epoxy. You don't see it from the front of the panel, and secondly, it allows us to remove the panel without damaging anything or damaging the panel. So essentially killing two birds with one stone. I'm a little nervous to see if all my calculations were correct, and I'm really excited to see it mounted on the boat.